To make this project, you're not going to need very many materials at all. You're going to need a shirt. This is the one I'm using. It's just a white Fruit of the Loom t-shirt. You can pick these up for a couple of pounds from blank suppliers. And then you're going to need some printable HTV for inkjet printers. So this is the one for inkjet from MDP Supplies. I always use the one for dark garments, even if I'm putting it onto a white shirt. If you get the one for light garments, you can only use it on white, but if you get the one for dark, you can use it on white, or you can use it on black, purple, blue, any colour shirt that you want. So I always keep some of this in stock. I think you get 10 sheets in a pack. I've got a feeling it's 10 sheets. I really like this one. It cuts nicely on my machine, and when it's pressed, sometimes you do get a bit of a colour change with some of them, but with this one it does stay relatively true to colour. So this one is from MDP Supplies, as I've said. I will link it down below for you. There are others on Amazon, which I'll also pop a link to, which I know one of my friends has used, and she said it's pretty good as well. So that's all you're going to need materials wise. You will need all your usual standard sort of equipment. I'm using a standard grip mat. I've got my True Control kit. I'm going to be using my brayer, which is here, and you're going to need to have on hand a heat press. If you haven't got a heat press, you can use an iron, but just bear in mind that your heat will not be as evenly distributed as it would be if you were using a press. So just bear that in mind. I'm using an Easy Press 2 today. The 9x9 one will be perfect for this particular project, and I'm using a Maker with a fine point blade as well. This is the design that I've picked for this shirt, and as you can see, it's got quite a lot of pink on it. So I'm going to actually change the colour of the Catching Rays and the Sunny Days bit so that it's a different colour. I'm going to make that into a turquoise. So what I'm going to do first of all is just come over to the right hand side and ungroup the design so that each layer is separated, and then that will allow me to make the changes that I want to make. So if I then just click on that Sunny Rays, it is one whole layer that incorporates all of the pink, so that will work really well. Then I'm just going to come up to the top here next to where it says Basic Cut, to this little colour box, and if I click on that, it brings up all the different swatch colours. So there's the colours that I've used previously, and I can also choose Advanced if I wanted to and pick out my own colour. So that's that blue. There's a yellow. That actually looks pretty nice, doesn't it, with the yellow? It's really tropical looking. I can do it in a green. There's also like a pinky red, which is nice. You can also move this little circle around to change the colour on there to what you'd like it to be. And the colour in the box just here shows you what your colour will be. So let's choose this green, I think. What do we think of that? I want something that's a little bit more tealy, like this sort of colour. So let's have a look, make it a little bit darker. Okay, I really like the way that looks now. So now what we need to do is just drag over everything to select everything, and then just come back up to the top and click on Group. And that is all grouped and ready. Because we are using a printable vinyl, we don't need to make any mirroring or reverse our design at all, so we can just leave it as it is. The next thing we need to do is measure our t-shirt so that we can work out the size of the design. Okay, so we're happy with the colours. What we need to do now is change the size. So we just need to be aware that we are restricted on the size still. Even though we can print on an A4 sheet, we still need to remember that we've got the borders around the sheet and all that sort of stuff. So the first thing to do is just try and make it a little bit bigger. I think it's going to be about 16 centimetres, so let's go to 16.2 and see if we can do that. So first of all, because this is at the moment a cut file, and as you can see at the top in the operation type, it does say Basic Cut, so we want to turn it into a Print Then Cut because we want to print it onto our printable vinyl and then cut it out that way. So we need to flatten this image. So make sure everything is selected. You can either do that by dragging over all of the layers, or you can go up to the top here to where it says Select All and click on that, and it will indeed select all. You can check as well that your layers are all selected by just looking over here on the layers panel. If they're all highlighted in this darker grey, that means that they are all indeed selected. So let's go down to the bottom here and click on flatten, and that will now convert all of those layers into one layer and turn it into a print then cut. So this size is good. Let's just see how far we can go before we get the warning triangle. So it's there. Let's click on that. Yeah, so it's 16.54 centimeters, which is fine. Let's just go back down to dead on, more or less. So 16.51. I have decided now to add a small offset to this, just so that when it cuts, it's not trying to cut around each of the letters, and I think it will just cut a little bit better. I am going to unflatten, and then what I'm going to do is just select everything, and I'm going to click on offset, and I want an offset around it of about 0.5 centimetre. So I'm just going to add that on. Offset is still very slow, it is still a beta item. Right, okay, that's better. Because I've done that though, it does mean I'm going to have to reduce my size a little bit. As you can see, the warning triangles have come up again. So what I shall do first of all is just get rid of this one, because it's been a little bit temperamental. I also don't want this hole here, so I'll just select on that layer there, and what I'm going to do is just move it out the way a little bit. I'm going to turn it into a basic cut, and the reason I've done that is because I want to contour that out, and when it's a print then cut it won't let me do that. So I'm going to come to contour, and I'm just going to hide all, because I know there's only that one there. I quite like the pink actually, but it doesn't show up all that well, does it? Let's make it white. Perfect. Let's select the whole thing again and then flatten that so it's one layer. We need to shrink it down again a little bit to the 16.54, so let's just do that. That's all good. Let's go through to make it again. Right, you can't see it, but I hope it's going to cut around it like I want it to. My material size is already set to A4 as a default. I have that on my settings. If we go through to continue, it's going to want to print. I haven't got my maker turned on just yet. That doesn't matter for this part. So I'm going to send it to the printer. I am turning bleed off, and I'm going to use system dialog. I'm going to click on print. This will then bring up my settings page for my printer, which is an Epson ET2711, not 2710, which is what it says on here. I don't know why. On this printer, to change your quality settings, what you need to do is go to layout, and then I'm going to click on print settings, and then I want to change my media type. So this is going to be interesting actually, because this isn't any of these items, but I'm going to click on Epson matte because it is a matte print, and then I'm going to leave it on normal quality, and then I'm going to click on print. I'm going to put my paper in, or my vinyl in, and then I'll come back to you and show you the quality of the print. So I've got quite a lot of stuff on top of my printer, as you can see, but we'll ignore that for now. So this is the printable vinyl. It's quite a matte finish, so it's quite a nice finish to it, and it has a grid on the back. So all I'm going to do is just pop one sheet of that into my printer. Okay, that's in there now. I'm going to just hit print on my laptop. And that should now go through there and come out with a pretty decent looking quality print. Okay, it's feeding through quite nicely, and it started its print. So let's leave it to do its thing, and we'll have a look at it in a second. Here is the printout then. It's come out really nice. I absolutely love the colours on this. You can't see where the offset is, so I am hoping it's going to cut out around that and not just do me a big square. It should do, but those are probably famous last words. I'm going to just grab a standard grip mat today. This one's quite new. Take the protective cover off. Okay, and what I'm going to do is pop this onto my mat in the same way that it looks on the screen. I'll just show you this now. If you just look at the screen, and you can see on the left hand side here, it's showing us that the design needs to go that way up. So we'll just pop it onto the mat just there, and then I'll just use my brayer to just smooth that down nicely. It's actually a lovely print. I'm quite pleased with that and how that's turned out. Then what we're going to do is go through to browse all materials on the screen, and I'm going to type in printable and see what options it gives me. So I have printable iron-on dark, printable iron-on light, printable magnetic sheet, printable sticker paper clear, printable sticker paper white, and printable vinyl. So this is printable iron-on in the dark, so I'll click on that. You can see I've got a little tick appeared just there, so that means I've selected it. Let's go down to done, and then that will come up on there. Now all I need to do is pop my mat into my machine the same way I would normally if I was cutting anything out, and just press the go button and it will cut out. So let's do that, and I'll show you it when it's done. Then this is the Easy Press that I'm going to be using today. It is just the standard Easy Press 2. It's not the one that you use the heat app for. It is just a basic Easy Press. So I'm going to get this heating up, so I'm going to pop that onto there, and I'm just going to change my temperature to 160, and my time is already on 20 seconds, so that's fine. It is heating up now. The light on here is orange, so that means it's getting warm. Once it's ready to press, it'll turn green and it will beep as well. So let's just pop this to one side for now. And then I've got my Easy Press mat here as well, so that is ready to go. Whilst that is getting ready, I'm just going to get myself a t-shirt, and I was using a pink one, but I've changed my mind about that now. I'm going to use a plain white t-shirt for this. So here is my plain white shirt. Oh, that's ready to go. That didn't take long. I'm going to just fold this t-shirt in half first of all, and this just enables me to pop a crease down that middle line. Let's try and get it as flat as we can. It's quite creased because it's been in my blanks drawer. Let's just get that folded nice and neatly. Okay, so that is folded neatly. I will just stretch that out a little bit under there. It's a tiny little crease that I can feel at the back. Right, I'm just going to get my press and just pop that on there. Just give that a little warm up of the fabric, and then pop that back on its tray. Then I can open my shirt out, and that just gives me a good idea of where my placement needs to be for my actual design on there. So that's the line straight down there. Next, what I can do is just grab a lint roller and just go over that shirt as well, just to make sure there are no little bits on there of debris or dust or little floof hairs from the little floofs that seem to be in my craft room all the time. So that is now ready. Here's my design then, it's all cut. So what we need to do now is weed away the excess material. So you can see where it has cut around the design, and this is the reason why I chose to do this as a flattened print then cut with the offset around it, because if I hadn't have flattened it, it would have cut each layer individually, so I would have had all these separate pieces to place. And because I haven't got the transfer sleeve that you would need to use for this type of printable vinyl, I didn't want to have to be individually placing and manually placing all of those little pieces myself. So I chose to put the offset on there, just really to make life a little bit more simple for myself. So I'm just going to cut off this excess, because you never know, I may in the future need a small piece of this to use for another project. So you can just cut off that piece, And then what you'll want to do is just weed around this. Now I find this stuff pretty easy to weed, and there's two ways doing it. You can either just pull up from the corner and just pull away, or you can pull up your design. And with something that's as simple of a cut as this, I just find it easier to just pull it all away from around the outside. So there is your design all nicely finished. What you'll need to do now is get this printed design off of the backing paper. So the easiest way to do this is just to get your weeding tool underneath very, very gently and just lift it. Just want to be careful that you don't stretch your design when you're doing this. There we go. So that is off there now, and I can just pop that on my hand whilst I move this out of the way. So here is my t-shirt and here is my design. So I know by looking at the screen on my computer that the centre of the S here is the centre of the design, more or less. So I want to make sure I've got it nice and straight. And I can actually see that it's nice and straight by just looking at it on my camera above, because I've got a little screen that faces me, so I can see it looks nice and straight, if only for a slight adjustment here or there. What you will want to do is use either a Teflon sheet or something to just protect your easy press from your design. So I've just got my tea towel that I use in the craft room for these sorts of things. So I'm just going to pop that over the top of my design there. It's still quite warm as well, so I won't need to worry about preheating again. Here's the easy press then, the green light's on. Let's hit the green light. You want to press down quite hard, but not too hard. Okay, once that countdown is complete, just take your press off. Pop it to one side, and then you can peel away your mask, and then I'm just going to turn it over and again just press down for another 20 seconds. That's just going to give it a nice press. Make sure that you put your easy press back onto its plate when you are finished using it. There we go. It's actually pretty warm right now, so I'm going to let it cool a little bit. But doesn't it look amazing? It's stuck really, really well. I can see the texture of the shirt through the vinyl, which means it's stuck nicely, and I'm quite pleased with that. So that's how you use printable vinyl. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and let me know your comments and thoughts down below. If you make something using printable vinyl, I would love to see it. So don't forget to tag me in your pictures on Instagram. I'll put my handle down below in the description so that you can go on there and follow me as well. And I hope that you have a great week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!